Good morning, y'all. Good morning, everybody out in the foyer. You don't want to miss our ingathering song. My apologies to our two singers today. Their names did not make it in the order of service, but we want to welcome Nick Payne and John Schliff. Thank you for singing for us this morning, gentlemen.
Come my way, my truth, my life, such a way as gives us breath, such a truth as ends all strife, such a life as killeth death. Come, my light, my feast, my strength, such a night as thrills a feast, such a feast as men's on length, such a strength as makes his guest. Come, my joy, my love, my heart, such a joy as none can mold, such a hope as none can part, such a heart as joys in love.
One love, let's get together and be all right. I want to thank Jessica here. She was asked if she knew me, and Jessica said, yeah, that's Reverend Connie. And just before Jessica said that, this beautiful piece dropped out of my pocket. And I don't know, I think a lot of you will remember that Reverend Connie gave all of us this Purple Heart to remind us to be courageous and becoming a beloved community, starting with yourself, because that me makes our we. So thank you, Jessica. You gave me courage to sing One Love. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Cincinnati. I am Ramona Beck, this morning's worship associate. Our church is a place where you are free to be you, your full identity, your questioning mind, and your expansive heart. Our mission is to welcome all with love, to support learning and spiritual growth, to serve our wider community, and to work for justice, equity, and inclusion. Please make sure to read the announcements and inserts in today's order of service, where you can find important information regarding accommodations, upcoming events, and our new process for collecting donations and joys and concerns. Regarding our new process for collecting donations, we want to take a moment to remind you of why we've made this change. By removing the offering from the service itself, we create more time for service. This allows us the opportunity to add more spiritual elements to the service, such as a meditation, expanded silence, or reading. If you value these elements, it's important that we adjust to this new process for collecting donations. If we cannot adjust, we will need to go back to passing the offering plate every Sunday. The flowers today are donated by Mary Mark and are dedicated to the celebration of love for each other and ourselves. There will be one more forum to discuss the bylaws revision you received via email in January. It will be held Tuesday, February 27th at 7 p.m. by Zoom. There will be a vote on the proposed bylaws amendments at a special congregational meeting on March 17th. Before we begin our service, let's take a moment to wave to the many people watching from home. Then rise to greet our neighbors or say hello in the chat. When you hear the singing bowl ring, please return to your seats. Good morning. What a beautiful sound. Lois, would you please come forward and light our chalice this morning? This chalice lighting is for all you saints. Yes, I said saints, for each and every one of you saints is a saint. Each and every one of you is a saint. And I can't help but think scoundrel too, but I'm just saying. Each and every one of you is a saint because it is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather by our actions. It is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather by our presence. It is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather by our giving. It is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather by our living. It is not by perfection that we are sainted, rather by our gathering together in love to create this beautiful community. At this moment, an oasis. And I invite you to enjoy every second. Our first hymn this morning is 100. I've got peace like a river, found in the great hymnal. Please rise as you are able. And sing because you enjoy singing, not because you gotta sound good. ages this morning is entitled The Power of One by Trudy Ludwig, which Doug Gerard will read.
Kids, do you want to join around to hear a story? This story is called The Power of One. It's by Trudy Ludwig, and it's illustrated by Mike Curedo. Do you see what's happening on this page? Are they fighting? Is there some kind of disagreement going on? The Power of One. Sometimes one can feel like a small and lonely number, but don't let this little number fool you. What's going on with this girl down here? She's sad? One is a lot bigger and more powerful than you think. One, after all, is the starting point for change. One good listener can make even the smallest voice heard. What do you notice starting to grow over here? A little plant. One shy smile can lead to a friendship. One caring friend can open the door for several more. Do you see they're doing things together? What are they doing? Helping pick up things, helping each other. One sincere apology can help heal big and little hurts.
Amen.
Do you see what he's bringing to her? Mm-hmm. And what do you suppose this means up here? Love or an apology? One warm hug can lift our spirits up when we're feeling down. Do you agree with that? I know I do. One thoughtful idea can bring a community together. Do you see what he has in his hand? Maybe it's seeds. One handful of seeds, they're going to start something, aren't they? Did I miss a page? Oh, one handful of seeds, excuse me, can sprout into a garden. I knew I missed something there. One harvested garden can make a bountiful feast. Acts and words of kindness do count. And it all starts with one. And what are they doing here? Can you see they're sitting at a table, feasting? Yeah. Thank you. The wonder question: what small kindness has someone directed my way that has touched me and inspired me to pass it forward?
Thank you, Brother Doug. Once a month, we select an organization. Oh, yes. All righty. Let's sing the children out. Once a month, we select an organization or cause for which we collect funds as part of our congregation's outreach. We call this effort Share the Plate. This month, our donations go to New Life Furniture Bank, which was introduced to us last week. You can read the insert in the order of service for directions on how to give to this cause. Tim Kraus, would you please come forward and share with us a moment in honor of Black History Month?
Thank you, Ramona. And the next slide that will come up, hopefully, will be a picture of Peter and Frances Clark. And Peter and Frances Clark graced our church with their presence for over 30 years. And it's an interesting story, and I tried to give you a little bit of that story on Friday when I sent an email out about the role that Peter Clark played in education in America, becoming the very first Black principal in Ohio and one of the first Black educators in Cincinnati. But Peter and Frances were much more than that. Frances was an early graduate of Oberlin College. She was one of the very first Black women to get a bachelor's degree from Oberlin College, first Black woman to get one of the first Black women to get a bachelor's degree anywhere in America. And they ended up marrying in 1854, and right at a time when Peter first lost his first teaching job because he gave a speech about Thomas Paine and praising Thomas Paine, and that was at a time when Thomas Paine was considered forbidden topic because he was an atheist. And so he lost his job, and Peter and Frances then moved to Rochester, New York, and started living with Frederick Douglass and his wife. And they helped Frederick Douglass put together the Northern Star newspaper for about 2 years before coming back to Cincinnati and joining full-time in attendance at our church. Now, Peter kept a membership in the AME church at the same time he kept a membership in our church because he needed to be connected to the Black community. But during this time, Peter then became an educator again and the principal of the Black high school here in Cincinnati. And during that time, Peter rose to become one of the most famous black intellectuals in America, among the top 10 of black intellectuals, while he was a member of our congregation. He was an outspoken activist inside the Underground Railroad and an outspoken activist for labor rights and a number of other things in American history. He ultimately helped elect a governor in the state of Ohio who came from our congregation, whose name was George Hoadley. And as a result of George Hoadley becoming governor of Ohio, the black codes that had severely restricted the participation of black Americans in Ohio's civic life were erased. It was a major contribution, and he paid dearly for that. So for those 30 years that they were in our congregation, they raised their family in our congregation, 3 children. They chose First Unitarian Church as the place to raise their children. So we have a lasting legacy, and next Sunday I will talk briefly about one of those children, Consuelo Clark, who became the first black female doctor in Ohio, if not the entire country. So that is the Black History Moment for today.
The responsive reading is "It Matters What We Believe." Some beliefs are like walled gardens. They encourage exclusiveness and the feeling of being especially privileged. Other beliefs are expansive and lead to the way into wider and deeper sympathies. Some beliefs are like shadows clouding children's days and fears of unknown calamities. Some beliefs are divisive, separating saved from unsaved, friends from enemies.
Other beliefs are bonds in the world community, where sincere differences unify the path.
Some beliefs are like blinders, shutting off the power to choose one's own direction. Some beliefs weaken a person's selfhood. They blight the growth of resourcefulness.
Other beliefs nurture self-confidence and enrich the feeling of personal worth.
Some beliefs are rigid, like the body of death, impotent and impotent in a changing world. Our next hymn is number 131, "Love Will Guide Us," found in the gray hymnal. Please rise as you are able.
Well, good morning, everybody. It finally got cold in Cincinnati. So I'm sure some of us stayed home in our pajamas and brewed some coffee and are watching on YouTube. So hello, YouTube watchers. And some of you are probably wondering about the title of this sermon. It's not a sermon where intuitively you say to yourself, "Oh, I know where he's going with that one." Toxoplasma Gondii in the Audacious Mouse, and it will become very apparent to you what that means about a third of the way through the sermon. But I want to begin this sermon by showing you a PowerPoint. And this PowerPoint is going to have, I think, 4 slides with about 4 photos each. And there's going to be a quiz afterward, or there's going to be a question. And the question is, what do all of these people have in common? So each slide will have 4 people who all share something in common, but every photo has something in common with every other photo, whether on its slide or on another slide. So that'll be the question when we're through this PowerPoint. What do all of these people have in common? All right. So 5 slides, 20 people. They all share one thing in common. What do you think that thing is? What does Samuel Jackson share in common with Gandhi? What does Gandhi share in common with Maya Angelou, et cetera, et cetera? They all share one thing in common. Oh. Humanity. Good answer. That's the right answer, not the one I'm after. What's that? Audacious. Ooh, that's a good answer too. Still not the one I'm after. Courage. Activist. Influence. Filled with confidence. Service. The power of one. Man, you are on fire today. Woo! I only came up with the one. So to hook it on today's sermon, what they all share in common is that they all hold beliefs. They all hold beliefs. All of these people possess beliefs, as do all of us. For instance, one belief that I share is that there are 3 forces that shape a person's destiny: biology, which you've heard me talk about, social context, and beliefs. Another belief I possess is that of these 3 forces, one is most able to alter one's beliefs, although even this is not necessarily easy. And yet another belief I possess is that we rarely consider the nature of belief or the effect that our beliefs have upon our lives, let alone do we ever attempt to alter our beliefs. Once established, we tend to grant our beliefs squatters' rights. Do we not? So my agenda this morning is to explore with you for just a bit the nature of belief, the effect beliefs have on our lives, and then talk to you for just a bit about how, as religious, liberal people, we should be making belief in the form of belief making a high priority. So I'm going to share with you a reading from whence I got the title of today's sermon. It's entitled, "Parasite Makes Mice Lose Fear of Cats Permanently." This is a true scientific article that I'm reading from, by the way. A parasite that infects up to 1/3 of people may have the ability permanently to alter a specific brain function in mice, according to a study published in the PLOS ONE journal, which is a scientific peer-review journal. Toxoplasma Gondii is known to remove rodents' innate fear of cats. The research shows that even months after an infection, when the parasites are no longer detectable, the effect remains. This raises the possibility that the microbe causes permanent structural change in the brain. The microbe is a single-celled pathogen that infects most types of mammals and birds, causing a disease called toxoplasmosis. But its effects on rodents are unique. Most rodents flee cat odor, but infected rodents are mildly attracted to cat odor. This is thought to be an evolutionary adaptation to help the parasite complete its life cycle. Toxoplasma can sexually reproduce only in a cat's gut. And for it to get there, the pathogen's rodent host must be eaten. How's that for the brilliance of evolution? Nature is filled with exquisite examples like this. All right, another sermon for another time. This biological oddity, brilliance, I think, on the part of the parasite, works very well as a metaphor for the nature of belief. Beliefs can control and direct behavior in people as much as the effects of Toxoplasma parasites control and direct the behaviors of infected rodents. This is, I submit to you, not an exaggeration. Skeptical? Consider a few examples. The adherents of Christian nationalism. Putin's beliefs about Ukraine and Russia's role in European history. Hamas and Israel, their beliefs about the Holy Land. These extreme beliefs lead to extreme behaviors. But those are extreme examples, right? What about the rest of us? Do beliefs direct and control our behaviors? Yeah, we might agree in principle, but we tend not to think so much. We really can choose to act counter to our beliefs if we elect to. So let me bring this a little closer to home. We also hold extreme beliefs, but we don't necessarily recognize them as extreme because they're ours and we're familiar with them. Here's an example of what many might consider an extreme belief. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. This is a belief we hold. And wouldn't we be loath to live in a country without such beliefs? I think most of us would. But aren't these beliefs rather extreme? Yeah, doesn't seem like it, till Alex got up and started preaching about it. Now I have to wonder, is this an extreme belief? Well, for an increasing number of people in our country, decade by decade, these are extreme beliefs. Consider the growing number of atheists in our country. To an atheist, to say that certain unalienable rights are guaranteed by the Creator is tantamount to invoking the flying spaghetti monster. To an atheist, the belief reads like this: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all people are created equal, that they are endowed by the flying spaghetti monster with certain unalienable rights. In sum, certain people could levy the argument that the basis of our republic and the laws that govern it are rooted in a group delusion foisted upon us by thousands of years of collective superstition. Stated this way, does this not sound like an extreme belief? Yet we would still be loath to live in a country devoid of such beliefs. So let me bring this even closer to home. Let's explore some beliefs that all of us share. What is your belief about money? And what effect does that belief have on your life? What is your belief about love? And what effect does that belief have on your life? What is your belief about race? And what effect does that belief have on your life? What is your belief about work? And what effect does that belief have on your life? What is your belief about time? And what effect does that belief have on your life? What is your belief about sex? And what effect does that belief have on your life? And what is your belief about spirituality? And what effect does that belief have on your life? We all have beliefs about these topics, and our beliefs about these topics direct and determine our behaviors to a great extent. I think it's important that we take time to consider the nature of belief and the effects beliefs have upon our lives. It's important to ask ourselves, what do I believe about money? What do I believe about love, about race, about work, about time, about sex, about spirituality? We never pause to consider our beliefs. Here's an example. Take money. If one believes that money is the measure of one's life, then one's sense of self will depend upon the balance in one's bank account. Other people may be seen merely as a means to one's own financial ends. The planet's resources may be seen merely as a means to one's own financial ends. What we believe about money affects our lives. And the same is true for love, race, work, time, sex, and spirituality. So here's the rub. Our beliefs skew and limit our vision of the world, which determines how we perceive the world and how we interact with the world. In a very deep, powerful, and consistent way. It matters what we believe. And it matters what other people believe. And this brings me to the point of this sermon. I told a few of our parents during the week that if you read the description of this coming Sunday's sermon, it won't seem to you like a sermon about religious education, but that's exactly what the sermon is geared toward. So I want to end with a few words about religious education. For where else do we help our young people form their beliefs? Beliefs can control and direct behavior in everyone. So what we teach our children in our Sunday school is vitally important. We are preparing the belief systems that will drive our young people into adulthood and affect the way they perceive and interact and behave in the world. So toward that end, we are currently reconsidering the content and the format of our religious education program for children. And we're shifting gears and looking more intently at our content. And we're going to be moving our religious education program more intentionally in the direction of the study of world religions. Because without knowledge of the world religions, one remains culturally ignorant to one's own detriment. Our UU history, because we have an incredibly proud UU history of which most of us are mostly ignorant. And it should be a source of pride and character formation. And of course, social justice. Because a religious life has no meaning in the world if one does not act in the world on the basis of one's religious beliefs. Get an amen from y'all? It is vitally important what we're teaching our children in religious education. So I am up-leveling this developmental goal to the top of the list. And I am going to be asking all of you to up-level this developmental goal to the top of the list. We need to rebuild, re-energize, and recommit ourselves to our children's religious education program. Currently, we have a children's religious education committee comprised of 2, perhaps 3 people. The best director of religious education in the world cannot succeed with that level of support. We need more people on this committee. And we need more people helping to teach in the classrooms. You didn't know this was an infomercial, did you? But we are in need of these 2 things, and if we're going to take our religious education commitment to our children seriously, I need you all to respond. And toward these ends in the coming weeks, you will receive an email asking you if you're interested and able to contribute your time and talents to rebuilding our children's religious education program. Now, I know that some of you are already sitting on 18 committees, and if you are, don't feel bad if you don't have the bandwidth to help out. But if you have the bandwidth to help out, I would very much appreciate hearing from you when you receive this email. I hope you will respond affirmatively. And if you need just one more talking point to help motivate you, here's one, and these will be our closing words today. Give me just one generation of youth, and I will transform the whole world. Anybody know who said that? Have you heard it before? I haven't heard that before. Give me just one generation of youth, and I will transform the whole world. Vladimir Lenin. And he was right as rain about it. All right, thank you all. I can't remember who's extinguishing our chalice today. Who lit our chalice? Lois, did you do it? Could you come up and extinguish our chalice? And Ramona and I will meet you in the receiving line. Thank you. Did it go out? Oh, blowing it hard. Yeah.